Fresh. Be live. All right, guys. Good evening. Welcome to another video, Magnum Opus with Jonathan. Um, what today is? Today is Saturday, August 16th. Man, I wasn't even gonna stream or make any videos. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. I'll come up with it. So I actually as you could probably see from what I'm doing right here, I figured out an even better way to trade. I honestly didn't want to put it on live stream because I feel like I'm now getting into the realm of what the strategy is supposed to be, where it's gonna be a highly more accurate, a lot more powerful than I am trading it now, and I probably didn't want to share it, the information because I'm probably gonna try to end up making it something that I could make into a hedge fund or whatever. But I gotta stick to my original ideas of that. I'm gonna put everybody on. Regardless, and not a lot of people watch my videos, anyways. So it's not like it's gonna be shared to the masses. And I just wanted to work on it, and I didn't want to live stream it, but I don't want to get out of my routine and lose the consistency and stuff like that. And I was procrastinating a little bit too, so let's get that out the way. So let's even just talk. Well, let's even just straight up talk about it. I'm not gonna do a whole hour live stream because I gotta do this in 30 minutes, and then I have to edit the video and post the video. If I do this for maybe 59 minutes, then I probably or Nah, I'll do it in 30 minutes to just accommodate for any BS that might pull up. So get straight to it. I already knew it. I think I said on the live stream last week, Friday. And I think I spoke about it little by little, sooner or later. But I realized that my entire strategy, the mind over trading grid, and the way that I trade can be optimized even further if I just look at price action from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Saves me time. And for the most part, what I was going to backtest and what I am going to backtest for the next few minutes here is how price action reacts between that time of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and if price actually makes a peak where it goes to the furthest point that it goes through within the trading range. The trading range used to be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but for the most part, price goes to its highest point between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then it fizzles down 12 to 5. And if I just focus on that time frame and then see how to trade during that and then changing the way that I trade, I probably am gonna get a lot more profits than I am. And then I was watching videos which was actually helping me understand the psychology of what I'm actually seeing because a reality is subjective. What you believe, I think I spoke about that in another video before. What you see is not actually what actually is there. And even though it is technically what is actually there, but the way that you're interpreting the information is going to be subjective to you, your experiences, your environment, and your emotions, right? So what I'm trying to say by that is that the way that I was trading, I'm not trading any new information. I'm just becoming a better trader, a smarter person, more attentive to certain things, and my risk tolerance is more. That the same information, I can see it differently, and I can see the opportunities differently. In short, what I mean by that is that instead of using my trading stop, first off, I started off by taking partial profits at 5 pips. That's when I was super conservative. I was afraid to leave money on the table. I was afraid to have losing trades. I wanted to see blue trades. I wanted to see consistent wins. And then I got to that level where, okay, boom, I had the 12 wins in a row. I had multiple wins in a row, small losses, not small losses, but small losing streaks, so on and so forth, right? And then I did have the little situation around like NFP, CPI, PPI, July 4th holiday where it had a big impact on my account where those small wins when I get a string of big losses plus psychological mistakes, technical errors, spreads and certain things like that that would cause my account to go into drawdown. The drawdown was way more than those small consistent profits would take. So then I started doing a one-to-one or letting my trades run a little bit longer and not using the partial close. And then I was able to see the bigger profits where I was able to get my account out of drawdown. So then I was looking at markets or charts, was like, wait, I'm actually getting my entries are always good. My entries since maybe 5 years ago, 5 to 5 years ago was always good. I usually can consistently get a great entry at least once out of the week where I get 100 pips or more. Webcam went out. Sorry. So my entry's always been relatively good, but what was happening was um that I was closing the trades early. Or I was my risk tolerance wasn't there. Even though I knew markets had the opportunity or possibility to go higher, I wanted to get out the trade. I wanted to grab the money off the table. Something in me, because I haven't experienced real profits like that for a while, or even on the FTMO, after losing that $17,000, watching it just dwindle down, it created a emotional pain in me that wouldn't allow me to let profits go past 1 to 1. Now there were situations in the last, maybe last week Friday, Monday, and stuff like that, where when I actually did close for a 1 to 1, I made the right decision. But I still, like, like I continually try to think. I gotta think in ranges, or in the long term, or over a series of trades. Those few trades, yeah, and that week, or those 3 day period closing at a 1 to 1, yeah, I did close at 1 to 1. But if I held the habit of letting those 1 to 1 become losers or break even, whatever like that, but I had the habit of getting bigger wins, then I'll be able to experience those man, I can tell you guys many times, 10 to 1, 5 to 1s, 7 to 1s, at least 3 to 1s consistently. But I was really just getting 1 to 1. Even my TP, the way I said, is at 2.5 to 1. You get what I'm saying? And then also the way that I have my trading stop. The trading stop was another psychological issue that I was having, where I want to lock in profits even though I'm technically leaving the trade open for a while, and I in my head it's like, okay, I got my TP, and I have a trailing stop where I don't have to manually close the trade. It's basically following price action. Um so okay, yeah, that's gonna put profits in my favor. Yeah, this is horrible. Hold on, let me see what's going on with this webcam. Let's be, because ain't no way you every few seconds you turn off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see if it's gonna stay on. Test, test. Okay, test, test, test. Lagging for what? Test, test, test. Give me a second. I'll go ahead and just close a few things. Test, 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 test. Yeah, I just need to close a few things. I don't need to close too much. Probably could close probably some dumb stuff like this. Out of box experience. What in the world is that? Stuff that you never seen before. TeamViewer is gonna. I'm honestly gonna uninstall it until I actually have a reason to use it, because TeamViewer tripping. Uh, wow, I actually don't have anything really open like that. Test, 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 test. Just OBS being stupid, I guess. Okay. Nah, I want the Microsoft Word. Alright, it's gonna be, it is what it is, right? Test, test, test. Hopefully the audio is pretty good. Alright, yeah. Let me finish what I was saying, right? So where did I leave off? Mm, your trailing stop, right? And then I was able to experience, or at least document, when I'm doing my technical analysis, trades that went up to profits like that, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is that for the next week, the way I'm gonna plan to trade is, I'm not gonna plan to really, I'm not practicing really to make money next week. Even though I'm probably gonna make money next week, it's more likely than not that I'm gonna make money next week. But I'm going to practice holding the trades, I want to say till 12 o'clock, but closer to 12 o'clock, just to see just to experience the fluctuations of the markets, to get that cognitive, just get that experience, the emotional, psychological, just go through the runs, and then probably over maybe tomorrow, when I'm doing my back testing tomorrow, and working with ChatGPT, I'm gonna come up with a more practical plan of analysis to back test, to figure out what's the best way to hold my trades longer. The number one thing that I know I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the trailing stop, or I'm gonna turn the trading stop to a time-based trading stop. I already have that already programmed in. Like I said, like certain things that I already had, I already can, I can't say see in the future, but I I predicted it basically, and I had it incorporated in the EA long before I knew I would be able to use it. But when I knew that when I got to the psychological, maybe subconsciously, I knew that I got to the psychological point where I would use it, or I seen the potential of using a time-based stop loss or trading stop or activation where after a certain amount of time it activates the trading stop, because I noticed that, like I said, markets would hit its peak around those certain times. My trading stuff right now, where it's trailing, I am actually not. I'm leaving a lot of money on the table even with that trading stop method. So I'm gonna back test a different trading stop method that incorporates time. I've been had to incorporate time in my analysis as well as my trade management. And what I mean by time is identifying the time stamps of when price hit these levels, identify the timestamps when price makes a reversal or reset, reaches its highest point, retracements, when I'm getting into the trades. Like I said, like I say, when we're looking at news, I done seen it happen so many times that I already see the pattern. If we have no news, the probability of us getting into a trade between 8 a.m. and 8:15 is higher. When we do have news at 8:30, the probabilities of us getting into a trade between the times of 8:15 and 8:30 is higher. So when we have news at 8:30, I can expect not to get into the trade no time before 8:15. And when there is no news, I can expect to get into a trade from 8 a.m. to 8:15 and even get a one-to-one in the first 15 minutes. You get what I'm saying? And that's something that I can incorporate into the trading strategy. And then I also been noticing, I've been kind of noticed it. A lot of these things I noticed, but like I said, I wasn't ready yet to actually apply what I noticed or execute on what I noticed. But for the most part, not only do I get a one-to-one, but markets are actually gonna move 30 pips from the 8 a.m. candle open price. Because I have an entry 5 pips away from the 8 a.m. candle open price, is actually gonna be 25 pips in profit. A one-to-one. I already have it in my EA already. So 1-to-1 is gonna be 15 pips. And then if you add 10 pips, it's actually gonna no 2-to-1 is 30 pips. My EATP is set to about 40 35 to 45 pips, around that. I don't know the exact number, right? I should know the exact number. It's 45 pips, 44 pips basically. Um, but the markets actually give you about like 30 pips of profit on average on a winning day. Let's see. Oh yeah, so markets give you about like between 35 to 40, well 25 to 30 pips on average on a winning day. And then that absolutely kind of, I wouldn't say absolutely obsoletes my absolutely obsolete my one-to-one, but the one-to-one really in the long run is a deteriorating profit, which means that even though I'm closing a one-to-one, I'm gonna end up losing it when I get to a losing streak. But if I'm closing like 2-to-ones, 3-to-ones, and then we have the occasional big winners, a 5-to-1, when we get to those losing streaks, we're not gonna go from, let's say you made like you had $100 account, you got it up to $50, right? By doing a one-to-one. When you go down to the losing streak, it probably comes down to about what $50 come down to like $10 profit or break even. But if you have like a dynamic TP where you're doing 2-to-ones and 5-to-ones and 3-to-ones like mixed in between there, instead of having like just a 50 pip profit, you're probably gonna be up like 253 pips, and you could have a whole, I mean, $253 off of that $100, and you can have what could I say? You can have a losing streak, a bad losing streak, like where it's just like you were doing bad, markets was going bad, spreads was bad, and you will still be deep into profits. But if you're trying to do around 1-to-1 and 2-to-1, you don't have much room you don't have much room for bad losing streaks. You don't have much room for bad psychology, mistakes. You don't have room for compounding your account faster. Um, and then you don't even have room for withdrawing profits while keeping a positive or a account balance that's more than your initial account balance. So if I had the same trades on two different accounts, one was doing a 1-to-1 and I got that to $100 or $200, and the other one was doing a mix where you had 2-to-1s, 5-to-1, 7-to-1, good closes. You would bring that $100 to $450. You get what I'm saying? And then you have the same losing streaks. That 1-to-1 is gonna go by. Oh no, and then you have the withdrawal, right? So that $100, you only could really realistically, you're either gonna do what I was doing, where I'm withdrawing all of the profits that I made, and I go back to the same initial balance. And the other account, you can actually withdraw more profits and then leave some profits in the account, and then you will actually be growing the account faster, because instead of going back to ground zero or level one, you're starting off at like level three. You get what I'm saying? So you get a level three and you get to level seven or level 10 faster than going from level one to level 10. So I've been noticing that. But the caveat to that is that if I'm going to go for the bigger profits, hold my trades longer, then a lot of the trades that were winning trades, a lot of the trades that were 1-to-1s are gonna end up being losing trades. So I have to be able to withstand those losses, withstand those bigger losing streaks, but I'm gonna have bigger profits that's gonna recover all of that. And then then I believe I will be able to identify when better when we're gonna get into winning trades, and not only winning trades, but big winning trades where I won't only, because like in theory or practically, if let's say, right, um I know this is gonna be a winning trade, I'm gonna hold the winning trade longer than I usually do, trying to expect it to peak out a little bit before 12 p.m. Um, but I know, like I said, I know it's gonna do a 30 pip range. And like I've been testing on my live account, that's the only reason why my live account is busting like that, where I think I doubled my account, or no, I think, and I'm more in profit on my live account. The initial balance I deposited, I already withdrew, and I have profits on top of that. So I'm net positive. I'm not in a drawdown at all. And all the money that I have put in the account, I already withdrew in terms of profit. And I have more money than I initially put in that account of all profit as well. So that's pretty dope. But if it comes to, in my example that I'm talking about, if we have a certain amount, like I said, all right, uh this day, if it's potentially gonna be a winning day, I'm gonna have 30 pips in profit for sure. Not the I can't even say guaranteed, but the probability that is gonna give me 30 pips in profit. Profit is higher than not, right? Not only is it higher than not, I'm also gonna stack trades within that, right? So when markets go in my favor, or I'm maybe not even when markets go in my favor, I just stack them in and just keep the stop losses at where all of them gonna have the same stop loss, and then let it hit. And then that one winning trade is gonna be a ridiculous one, where it's not only just one trade in it, it's gonna be two, three, four trades stacked on one high. That's why I gotta figure out what is the A plus trade, where the probability is high. We have a news event that's not CPI, PVI, or NFP, but it's gonna be a news event that is probably gonna move the markets. We probably had losing streaks. We probably had two losses in a row, and the probability of it being a winner. We're on probably a profitable day, where it's like on a weekly average, the Tuesday is probably gonna be the high probability of you having a winning trade. Or we had like a big, I wouldn't say fair value gap, but we had a big move the day before, and there's a lot of range for markets to go ahead and either retrace that move or continue into the direction. Then it is like or like markets is trending, in compared to consolidation, we broke out of a zone, so on and so forth. A lot of confluences. That's what I'm also gonna be working on. Stacking up confluences. First, I need to go ahead and document news. I don't know why that's the number one thing I never ever um document on my back test, but I know it's a big factor, which is like I gotta put emoji or one of the strikes or one of the dots on the news, and then I'll be able to look at the back test and see how news actually affect in reference to my what you call it, in reference to my back testing. Um yeah, let's make a 30-minute video. So I don't want to rant too much. As you can see, I'm not gonna say this is gonna be the official way that my This is the official way that the new. This is like I keep updating the trade the grid maybe every once or 2 weeks, but this is gonna be more concise view of the Magnum Opus trading grid, which is also gonna help with my math, not mathematical calculations, but yeah, will help with my mathematical calculations a lot better since we're trading within a 4 hour range. Like I said, like all I'm being do is holding the trade open for 4 hours. What is this? What? Oh, this isn't the current. Oh, I was doing some back testing. All right, let's go ahead and do some back testing. I'm not back testing. I'm just trimming up the range from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now I'm just gonna bring it to 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then I'm going to see if that range encompasses the peak of the move or the furthest point of the move without chopping it out. Some days it definitely does top out the peak of the move, but you remember trading is a probability, so it more often than not the peak does occur within that 4 hour window. Yeah, and you guys already know if I'm doing this OBS stuff, all this is gonna lag. I think I got another water bottle here somewhere. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I had that feeling. I know the feeling. I get the feeling all the time when I come up with a new addition to my strategy or the magnet overtrading theory that I know for a fact is profitable. I know for a fact it's profitable. Like I could feel the money. I could feel the accuracy going up. I could feel the profit. Um, and it's one of those downloads I get from what universal intelligence from God. I'll say God, Jehovah God, but I know you guys all don't identify or name a deity or a power, but that's your business. I know I prayed to a God and I asked God for assistance. And it's not like you just ask God for assistance. You have to make sacrifices. You have to dedicate yourself. You have to apply yourself. And then along with all the dedication, the sacrifices, and applying yourself, and then doing the right thing and speaking to Him on a basis and believing and having faith, blind faith, um, you would actually you'll actually get answers in your life for sure. So all I'm doing right now is just trimming it up to 11:55 instead of 4:55, which is gonna land at 12 o'clock. Yeah, and then I'm also gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hyper analyze. I wouldn't say hyper. I'm just gonna also gonna pay attention to my losing trades. Like I need to find patterns in my losing trades to see how do losing trades form. What are the indications that this might be a losing trade before I lose all of the money? Um, what's my indicate what's my F trades? What are my least probable trades? What should I avoid? What while I'm in the trade in the first how much time am I in the trade will I realize that it's gonna be losing trade. The tricky thing about these losing trades over than these winning trades is winning trades, like I said, that it will peak out at around 12 p.m. But the losing trades it'll take you out in like 5 to 15 minutes. So it's not a lot of data it's gonna give you before turning around and losing. I do know certain A plus winning trades have no drawdown. Um, and then I do kind of know if an A plus winning trade has no drawdown, and it really just goes straight into profit, it might be aligned with news. And also if it's in a trend where like on a higher time frame, it's just bullish, bullish, bullish candles or bearish, bearish, bearish candles. Um, that will just bring the probability of it being a winning trade higher. And then losing trades probably have no profit in the first 5 to 10 minutes, but by the time that 5 to 10 minutes, you're probably going to be in drawdown 5 to 10 pips. I think the most I probably could do is curl my stop loss 5 pips. I think that's my first step in figuring out losing trades or filtering out losing trades, but it's also gonna, like I said, you can do any change. it's gonna affect your win rate. So if the markets go down against me 10 pips and then I throw my stop loss, maybe if market go down against me 5 pips and I throw my stop loss 5 pips, then I could mitigate some of those losses over time. So if I have three losing trades that I ended up, if I the tricky thing is if I have three losing trades that I ended up trading a stop loss 5 pips, I save a losing trade, right? But I also add a losing trade because if I had a winning trade that actually went down 10 or more pips, but I already throw my stop loss, I'll be out of the trade. But the thing is, my winning trades have to be more than a 1-to-1. That's the only way. I think I really have to divorce the fact of chasing a 1-to-1. I have to divorce that 1-to-1 fact. Have to do these bigger trades. And then that will also lead me because like I'm saying, I'm really building foundation and understanding on the variables, the things that I need to the things that I need to look at and focus on a market that is going to help me build the strategy and make the profit and cut off the losses. And then once I have the backbone or the basics, then I can apply it to different markets. Like I said, Euro USD technically a lot of people are afraid to trade Euro USD. They say it's the most manipulated one, so on and so forth. And you see a lot of people are really trading gold indices and stuff because the risk reward is crazy on those. They're more volatile for sure. So once I understand all of the concepts on a more, I would say a more commercial or a more regulated or understandable financial instrument like Euro USD, then I can apply the same basic laws onto something like gold in US 30, and then just refine it based off of the behavior of that market. But like I said, all the markets are the same thing. They go up, down. They are based off of time and price. They are affected by news and geopolitical events, so on and so forth. Interesting. Interesting. Hold on, let me not embarrass myself right quick. Sorry about that. So technically, it's not a roach. It's a water bug. And whenever, since we're in hurricane season, we have a lot of rain and water, and they're gonna pop up guaranteed. This the water bugs, the frogs, but you got mosquitoes in summer, water bugs, frogs, mosquitoes, and then you have what those bullshits again? Spiders. I live in a more tropical area of the island, where there's a bunch of trees and bushes and all that stuff, so it breeds it breeds all this bullshit. Getting chills thinking about it now. All right. That's my Kai Cenat moment right there. And then yeah. So as you can see, I'm still gonna have the thing is I'm still gonna have losing trades. So oh yes, no, not only I'm gonna focus on losing trades, but my re-entry techniques. That's another thing. But okay, now it's making more sense to me. If I can filter out my chill still. I can filter out a lot of the losing trades, and while studying the losing trades, I can I can figure out re-entry techniques that's gonna turn losing trades to winning trades because a lot of the losing trades, like I said, it's gonna hit my stop. I know it. It's either gonna hit my stop loss, reverse back into the original direction I was in, or it's gonna hit my stop loss and continue in the opposite direction because I chose the wrong direction. And since my range is about 20 pips or 1 unit, which is 10 pips below, 10 pips above, and if I know okay, I got out, or I got stopped out, and the best ideal entry is gone. I either could wait for a better ideal entry, depends, or I could get in once I get stopped out in a different way, either for a continuation or a reversal of direction, and I could do the same, and I could I could use the same template of the original winning trade, or the same trade management of the original winning trade, just with probably initial loss in account balance, but I could still hold it until 12 p.m. or wait till market to peak out, and then if I risk properly, I can go ahead and recoup the loss as well as get more profits. So I am working on something. I am okay. All right. Okay. All right. So hyper focus on my winning trades, and then re-entry techniques is probably. So so I can also get into so I can, if I can also be comfortable with sustaining losses because I will have re-entry techniques. I need to write this down. Do 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 do. Losing, study losing trades to develop a contingency plan and risk mediation. I be making up words. I be using the wrong word, but I know what I mean. Like lower my risk, right? So if I'm going to end up changing how if I'm end up gonna, if I'm gonna end up trading some of my losing trades to smaller losing trades, which is gonna increase the frequency, the amount of losing trades I'm gonna get into, I'm going to also focus on the losing trades to figure out what is a great reentry, or what's the probability of me predicting the right reentry technique and experiencing the winning trade. Even though, right? Mm. And if I could do it, if I could get the right combination of both, where maybe I don't do that, but I use a reentry, or maybe I reduce my risk, and then even if I do get stopped out, I get into a reentry. I just need to make sure that I'm risking the right amount. Because there's the 100% the possibility that I have a losing trade and the reentry is a losing trade. You get what I'm saying? So the timing has to be right on the right day, certain things like that. But I just want to do one thing at a time. So the thing that we're gonna know, we're working on now, is holding the trades longer. That's the one thing we're gonna work on. Holding the trades longer. See how trades react if I hold them at or around 12 p.m. Chills, bro. Chills. Chia. Okay, that's 12:30 right there. I'm gonna do one more week of price action, and then I'm gonna end the stream. Because I'm gonna have to edit the video, post the video, and I'm probably gonna end up going back on the charts myself and continue back testing. But I'm gonna back test with you guys tomorrow as well. So right now, like I said, and then another thing is markets do operate in cycles or seasons. You could call it season, you could call it cycles, where it has a pattern of doing things, then it changes to a different pattern of doing things. So how can I explain this? The easiest way I can explain it is, I can't say consolidation. Can I? I can say consolidation. Okay, let's say that the market is on a daily basis giving 30 pips, right? All right, 30 pips here, 30 pips there. A loss here, a loss there, but 30 pips here, 30 pips there. And then in the next 3 months, it's giving 50 pips here, 50 pips there, as a loss here, a loss there. Or I noticed, what I've been noticing is that the type of re-entries, like, and in the beginning of the year, maybe January through damn near almost to summer, January through April, right, April. Instead of when the markets hit my stop loss, it will continue in the same direction it will continue in the same direction for like 10 to 20 trades. I wouldn't say every losing trade, but for the majority of the losing trades, it will be a continuation of the move. So if I got into a buy and then markets hit my stop loss, yeah, the trade was actually a sell, and then markets continue to go lower. Or if it was a buy, I mean, if it was a sell and the market hit my stop loss and it continued to go higher, and it was supposed to be a buy, and it'll do that for like 20 trades. or 20 losing trades, right? And then it will flip after a few months of doing that. It will flip, and then let's say you say, okay, this is how I'm gonna get into my re-entries. I'm gonna get into my re-entries. If my stop loss got hit, I got the wrong direction, I'm gonna switch directions, and I'm going to trade in the opposite direction, and that's gonna be the winner. After a few months, markets are gonna switch what it's gonna do, and instead of a continuation, it's just going to be I would say liquidity, not liquidity. I'm not gonna say it'll be a reversal, right? Or just a stop out and continuation, right? I'm confusing you. So what it was gonna do is, if I got into a buy, it hit my stop loss and then continue going up. If I got into a sell, it hit my stop loss and it continue going down. And it'll do that for like 3 months. And then once it gets into the groove, or once that I believe the trader gets into the groove of following that re-entry technique, 3 months later, it's gonna switch it back, and then it's gonna say, all right, if you got into a buy, we can hit your stop loss. It's gonna continue going lower instead of going back to instead of going back higher. And then it'll do that, and then you know what I'm saying, it'll flip flop. I noticed that. So it's not consistent throughout the year. And even my entry techniques, because I used to trade a different entry technique where um instead of having a buy stop, instead of have a buy stop and a sell stop above and below the 8 a.m. kind of open price, I used to have a buy limit and a sell limit, which means that when price actually went 5 pips in my favor, it actually is going to pivot back the opposite direction, and then that will be the trade. And then I noticed that wasn't working too well. And consistently throughout a year's worth of data, that wasn't working too well. The way that I have it now works consistently throughout a year's worth of data, a little bit better than the other one. So I thought, all right, let me just ditch the reversal um idea and just go with a continuation idea. It has been working, but that does not mean that markets don't go to a period, which I've noticed in the beginning of the year. It actually went through a period where it was actually every time it hit 5 pips, you're supposed to get into a limit order and not a stop order. For markets to pivot in the opposite direction. So if it went 5 pips bullish, the trade was actually is supposed to be a sell. If it went 5 pips bearish, the trade was a buy. And then but then later on throughout the year, it will change where if you got into, if we went 5 pips bullish, it actually was a bullish trade. And then more often than not, that was working, so I just decided to lock in with that one. But another thing that I was gonna say that I'm gonna do is I'm going to I'm gonna be running the same concept, the same base concept strategy, but different accounts with different variations. So when one account is going through drawdown, the next account is going through profits, but it's gonna be like ridiculous profit, right? So it's gonna be like the risk reward is gonna be like, if I lose 1 unit of risk, let's say I have an account, right? Trading basically the same way, but different variations of like the re-entry techniques, or even the entry techniques in general. The initial entry technique in general, I traded just a slightly different way, or a slightly different variation. Let's say I lose $100 on one account, the next account is gonna make 500. You get what I'm saying? And then when the seasons change, one account is gonna be more profitable than the other one, but the risk and the risk tolerance is gonna stay the same. Sooner or later, they're both gonna be making money at the same time. One's gonna be losing money, but it's not gonna blow the account or whatever like that. It'll just be in the losing streak, while the other one is in a winning streak. But listen, I'll still be risking one on this. Let's say 100 on this one, 100 on that one. But this one will lose 100. This one's making, that's, I guess if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna have to be looking for a 3 to 1 or more. Yeah, 3 to more TP scenarios where even in a situation where both trades, which is definitely possible, both trades can end up being losers. On some of the losing trades, that in the long run, I end up making more than I lose. You see, this theorizing is going bananas. But I need to go ahead and, yeah. So sometimes I know like stuff like this where even though after 12 o'clock markets do peak out a lot higher, I definitely did get more than I would initially would have got with, let's say I probably would have trailed my stop loss to break even at a 1 to 1, and I seen this happen. I actually was in this trade, and markets actually went in my favor, and I was not there. Instead of not moving my stop loss at all until a certain period of time, then I didn't answer my own damn question. Then like I said, you have to activate the stop loss of a certain period of time. And then the TP has to also be dynamic too. Yeah, man, man, I don't I used to think that I didn't think it was a lie, but I used to hear people say consistency is key. Man, that could have been so true. It could have been the truest statement you ever hear. But like I said, you have to be ready for some information before you can actually internalize it. I don't think I was ready for the information. People could like I said, bro, people could tell you the right thing, but not until you're ready to listen to it and apply it is worthless to you. You see 30 pips, 10, 20, 30. That's better than the 1-to-1. So how much is that? That's at least, yeah, 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 man. And that's I think this is actually where my risk reward is already set to, but my trailing stop is the reason why I don't achieve that. And because I don't wanna call it, because I'm not trying to stay in the trade that long, I don't experience it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start 4 hour streams now because I'm gonna be holding the trades longer. I'm gonna need to, maybe not in the first initial streams, but while I'm working on these 4 hour streams, I need to figure out how to consistently have something for you guys to talk and engage with you guys with. Right now it's just me on the computer coming up with stuff. But I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to do stuff like those streamers do, build segments and stuff like that for you guys to interact with you guys. But right now I really don't have anybody to interact with. Sometimes people come on TikTok and interact. But I can't read the comments. I can probably incorporate the comments in my see the comments here. Should do that. I'll write it down. Add TikTok chat to what is OBS? Yeah, I gotta add TikTok chat to OBS so I can see it because I can't look here, scrolling and everything like that, and I be missing a lot of you guys' comments. Um, I think I probably should promote, or I should focus more on TikTok's live stream over YouTube live stream because it, um the way that TikTok live stream works is TikTok live stream is going to put you in front of people. YouTube live stream expect people to come and find you. And that's a lot better. You could build a following faster on TikTok than on YouTube. And I also have to work on my thumbnails, my titles, uh, my overlays. It's a lot of stuff that I need to work on. I don't want to work on it actually. I want to pay somebody to do it. To be honest, if I'm being 100% transparent. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to work on. All right, guys. So thank you for watching this temporary short live stream. At least I'm still consistent. Maybe not give you guys an hour because if I don't post this now, 12 o'clock gonna come and then it's actually the next day. So technically.